What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. My name is Splattercat, and today we're going to be taking a look at December 19th of Froid. This is a really difficult mission, and this is one of the ones that people tend to get hung up on. I mean, it's all one wave, and you'll see what I mean. But first and foremost, let's get a little bit of storyline out of the way. It'll give you guys a chance to get a feel for what's happening in the overall lore. I've actually recently started reading all these little things on the load screens in between, and you actually get a nice little hang for... Well, you get a hang of the lore, the overall kind of French-Canadian lore of the whole thing. But in any case, let's pet Arnold here for good luck. He likes it when we pet him. And then we'll jump straight on into this mission. So here's the storyline. December 19th, Chapter 15, The Toad and the Treasure.
There are limits to my patience. Since you asked me, the church hasn't been repaired, and Mass hasn't been said for close to 2 weeks now. However, I still haven't seen Josephine yet, and I'm still waiting for that missive from Rome you promised me.
If I've failed until now, it's not for a lack of trying. Close to half the village goes werewolf every night to help us get rid of the two brothers, and that number is growing. Time is on our side.
Maybe time is on your side, but it's not on mine. The Archbishop of Quebec City will soon launch an investigation on what's happening here if my church isn't repaired soon. And then I'll be damned.
You would be right to worry, my little priest, if I didn't have a plan. Let's lure one of the two brothers to the village and rid ourselves of him. Then while the other one is fighting the werewolves, you'll be free to seduce Josephine.
Seduce her? You mean make her submit to me without having to use force?
I have in my possession Josephine's blood, and with that blood, I will soon be able to prepare a love potion that will make you irresistible to her.
Father, I must speak with you. Last night was ghastly, and I still have many sins to confess. Oh, Doctor, excuse me for interrupting.
But you're not interrupting us at all, my dear friend. You've come just at the right time. The father and I were just talking about the need to calm down the O'Carroll brothers for good in order to improve the climate of the village. And I believe that you could provide us with considerable assistance in that area.
Cripes! Is it just me? Or were there even more werewolves attacking my mill last night?
Indeed. It's as if something was attracting them. Miller, are you sure there's nothing you're hiding from us?
No. I have no idea what it could be.
Crapaud, the toad, lies as he breathes. What has been his misfortune will be our salvation or our undoing. The second key is hidden in the mill.
All this makes me think of the legend of Antoine Saint Crapaud, the cursed lumberjack. Josie, you take care of worming some information out of him, while I beat back the beasts.
Alright, so on first inspection, this level seems very overwhelming, and we've got access to a new trap, which is the sacred tree, but we'll talk about that in a minute, because honestly, we're probably not even going to use it in this LP. It is a super crappy trap. It is just awful. There is really no reason to use it because it requires so much setup time, but in any case, we want to take a look. This is all one wave, and a lot of people get overwhelmed with this mission, and for good reason. It's tough. But the first thing we want to do is identify enemies that are far away from the rest of them. So everybody over here is in kind of an oval clump. This guy is an outlier, which means we just need to handle him because he's going to arrive at our trap zone before everybody else. Let's put a dog meat there, and then we'll go ahead and throw a spike trap on it, and that should resolve itself right there. So that's already 20% of our enemies down. The next thing we want to take a look at is where is everybody else going, and the common theme here is that everybody's going to the lumber mill, which at first glance seems kind of scary, but it actually makes our job a lot easier. So what we're going to do is let's do the Wendigo first because he requires the most attention. Now, this level is bugged. When you click on him, it's going to tell you that he's going to go this way. He is not. Well, he might. Let's go ahead and make sure, though. So I'm going to put a barricade right here because we're going to have to do it anyways just to make this whole thing work properly. We don't want all of these wolves going that way. So he's going to now go down and through there. And what we want to do in this situation is we're going to put a ballisti right here so that we can deal with him. And so there's the ballisti. It's all nice and set up. We'll take our shot when we get the opportunity, and he should die appropriately. But we have to put a skill point in first, otherwise we'll have to do cleanup work. Now, we want to get all of these werewolves gathered as well. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bait here, a bait here, a final bait, well, not a final bait, but I'm going to put a third bait right there, and then a fourth bait right here with another spike trap. Now, the purpose of this is the first trap is going to go ahead, these are going to gather all the werewolves once again. They're going to gather here. The spike trap should kill off all of the lesser werewolves and damage all of the big bad voodoo daddy crazy werewolves. And then over here, this should damage them even further. But because I like contingency plans, I'm going to put a barrel of explosives right there. Anything that sneaks through, I'm going to shout, fall back, and anything that's left over is going to get blown up by the barrel when they come over to investigate. That leaves us with the final plan of what to do with these gents up here. Now, because they're headed to the hermit's house, we've got to be a little bit creative. We want them to run this entire loop, which is going to gain us a little bit of time to deal with all the stuff down below, especially since we're using so many baits and things. We just want to make sure that they're in their place appropriately. Now, if the tree worked the way I would like it to work, we could just place it, and as things ran by, it would be like tower defense, and it would just shoot them in the face, because one tree does more than enough damage to kill off all these guys. Unfortunately, we don't really have that option. The second thing that is a little weird is I don't know why I have this tower right here. This is a weird tower. I don't know why I have a tower that goes from chicken farm to there, but we're going to need another one. I'm going to put one right here that's going to take us from our house to the hermit's location. And then, honestly, I could probably get away with putting down another one that would take us from... God, I don't even know at this point. There's so many zip lines going everywhere that there's so many things that can go wrong that my brain just can't keep track of them. But hopefully we'll be able to get everybody corralled up. The will-o'-the-wisps shouldn't bother any of these traps because there's so much less of them. And so we should be able to fall back to here, fight the will-o'-wisps, kill them off before any of the other guys hit this trap. Worst case scenario is we kite them out, then we shout them back to here, kill them, come up here, and then deal with these guys. So let's take a look at our skill list. We're going to chop out the rest of our AP just to make sure we get some cash before the end of the day. And then we're going to go to our inventory, and we're going to go to our skills. I'm going to take this talent right here. This is a must-have talent in my opinion, ballistics. It makes your ballisti automatically kill wendigos. It does 110 damage to whatever it hits. It makes it so you don't have to do any cleanup work or carry a silver axe just for the purpose of dealing with your enemies. Now, I'm going to use silver bullets to deal with all the mycans up in the top. We're not even going to trip about that. It should be perfectly fine. And so let's go ahead and start the Eve. And here we go. We'll start it off. I don't know why I decided to do that pop-up. I think I had a crash last time, and it must have counted the crash as being a failed attempt or something. I don't really know. The game keeps crashing on me in the middle, and it's odd. But in any case, let's go ahead and do this thing. He's going to run out. And the first place we want to set up is right over here with our ballisti. And so hopefully this isn't placed too closely. Now, another thing that's going to throw a lot of people off in this mission is the fact that you have no wind, and that's going to ruin one of your big oh shit buttons. The wind allows you to corral everybody together if everything goes absolutely wrong. And in this case, I think I want the wind to go to the west a little bit. So that's what we're going to do. There it is. Also, they don't all spawn at the same time, which can put you in a weird spot. It means that the enemies may not end up where you want them to be. Now, you'll notice that the Wendigo spawned way late. That's going to give us a little bit of a problem if you weren't ready for it. You'll see that the werewolves are already gathering on our first bait, though, so all in all, the plan seems to be going according to what we want. Let's shoot this Wendigo real quick, and then we'll set ourselves up over at the mill. And down he goes. And so we've got him taken care of. What we want to do now is we're going to run over to our tower and get ourselves set up at the lumber mill because we've got enough time to do so. We're going to fight off the wisps first and foremost. There's 4 of them, so this could be a little bit of a fight, but realistically it'll probably be okay. I mean, we could spring the barrel trap right now, but I'm not a big fan of the barrel trap. I want to save it just in case. So we'll kind of stay on the outskirts here. Unless they make it through the traps too quickly, I don't think the wisps will trigger any of that, and they are in separate groups of 2, so we've got a little bit of time on our hands. I'm going to stand right here, and the second the wisps show up, we're going to go ahead and whip them into shape as best we can. I don't want to fight them too closely, though. And so there we go. We're going to take a fireball to the dome, and I want to back up a little bit because they are going to come at this trap. And so that's one wisp down, and that wisp is probably going to try and run away down beneath the earth. And so what I'd prefer to do is kill him outright. He's already down. And so what I'm going to do now, since it doesn't appear to have done the job, I'm going to back up to here. And we're going to get them nice and near the barrel, hopefully. I don't know if the barrel is going to affect the wisps, but hopefully it'll allow us to blow everybody else up. So there we go. It's not going to let us deal with the wisps, so we're going to have to do them the old-fashioned way, by fist, or by axe. The axe's fist, I guess. And so he's killed off, and we have very limited time to get back and deal with the Mycans, unfortunately, because he dove under the earth. We should be okay, though, in the greater scheme of things. I don't think the Mycans are going to be able to wipe everything out quite as quickly as I hope they wouldn't be able to. And so let's jump onto a zip line real fast. We'll get over there and do the best we can to close before this whole thing just goes ballistic on us. And so we'll drop down. They're dealing enough damage to actually ruin my plans here. And unfortunately, because the spike traps did not deal with people like I wanted them to, we're having to do this the hard way. And so let's get in here. And I don't know if I'm in range to fire a shot just yet, but I need to get them aggroed on me. Just off of the building, first and foremost. So let's go ahead, and we may actually end up fighting them by hand, which kind of sucks, to be honest. But let's run away for a minute. And if we can lose them, I think we'll be alright. Because I really do actually need to get my gun reloaded. We were actually heavily relying upon the fact that we had silver bullets here. And they're probably going to enrage pretty shortly as well. Alright, so we've got them far enough separated, I think, to where I can start to wheedle away at the front runner here. Not really. God. Just when plans don't work out, this is what this game always turns into. Just kiting the last couple guys that you don't have the right weapon for. And actually, we can jump across here. Oh, they came across with us. That sucks. Alright, so this is really just not the way I wanted this to go. Unfortunately, because the explosives did not kill off our friends back there, we ended up in a spot where, unfortunately, let's see if we can finish him off now that we've got him separated from his buddy over here. We are going to take some damage right there. We're out of stamina, so we want to be careful about the way that we fight him. Gonna wait for the stamina to go back up. And then the key here is to start kiting back towards the other guy already, so that just in case we have to play catch up here, we can get within shot range and do our thing to make sure that we don't end up with our building getting annihilated. I think in this case my shout should be back up pretty shortly, so let's go ahead and sprint back over here. And since we don't have a rifle shot, I'm going to have to rely, unfortunately, on my shout if this doesn't work out the way I want it to. And is that going to be enough? Okay, we've got him. Now, what I want to do here is go ahead and reload, because I hate these Mycan Shamans. They actually have two different abilities. They've got the ability to heal themselves, and they've got the ability to call down a ridiculous amount of meteors on you, both of which are pretty obnoxious if you're trying to deal with them. We're going to call him back to here, and we almost lost the Hermit's farm there. I've done this on a lot cleaner ways. That was unfortunately not very clean. It's not a playthrough that I'm incredibly proud of, but it is what it is. We live with it, and we learn. And so, normally what I would hope for is that the wisps wouldn't dive underground. That's where the plan went wrong there, is I didn't manage to kill them off. A wayward cross probably would have helped over there, but in any case, we managed to succeed at the level. So, my name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here for December 19th, 1858 of Hard Mode Sang-Froid. I hope you enjoyed it, even though it was a little hairy. We did get it done. Don't use this as a tutorial. I would recommend, if you're going to use the way that I built everything, to put down a wayward cross. That would be the way that I would recommend you finish this one off cleanly. It seems like that's the little thing that would have tilted everything in our direction. But in any case, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for joining me here, and take care, everybody.